Up there.
Think we're really cool. Cause we're sitting by the pool.
Sitting by the pool.
Girls all around.
Girls all around.
Whoa, look what we just found.
Look what we found.
Found a Sportcat.
Coldest last feeling days, but we got beer. Was a girl from Spain, and Lolita was her name. Well, the zipper got stuck. Whoa, boys were in luck. Big Al for the stuff. Michelle with a shot. We got beer.
Got beer.
Glad for beer. I like a lot of beer. The bottom to the top. I just can't stop with beer.
With beer. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, you're off.
1, 2, 1, 2, like these young coolers, Rocky Mountain Brew. I like 12 packs and 6 packs of beer. I like 12 packs and
I
6
can do
packs
that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Tonight we got Grizzly and
Sportcat. I can't hit
in the
that
house
bell.
tonight. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show, man. I tell you, I love that theme song. You know, it's like the more and more we play it, the more and more I love to sing it. But I got to get in tune a little bit. But in there. But anyways, so what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome tonight to another edition of Sportcat Live with Grizzly in the house. How's everybody doing out there in La La Land from coast to coast and around the world? Hello. How you doing, Sportcat?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you? I mean,
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, man.
it's been an eventful week, but yeah, it's so.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
actually has.
You need to remind our listeners that yes, you can enjoy us on the YouTube Live Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. to 11. Whoa, something's going crazy over there, connecting and unconnecting.
I know
But you can also the day after tune us in on a podcast. So all of this audio is stripped, uploaded to a podcast. So if you're listening to us on podcast, which I hope you are, like, subscribe, and you want to watch us, come on over Wednesday night to the YouTube channel and join in. There's a great chat. There's quite a few people always in there. It's a good time. Last week we had a blast. So this week we're going to discuss, of course, the big news was, there was that big white orb that floated just across our country. So we'll talk about that.
The big white orb. You
big
talking
orb.
about that that thing in the sky? Is this what you're talking about?
I'm talking about China's balls is what I'm talking about. China showed their
Yeah.
balls to us. So they flew it over our country. So yeah. So there's a big white China ball over our country this week. And we just kind of just let it in all the way there. So
Why was that? Why did we just let it fly? That's one of the things that I did not understand. Why did we let it fly in the air? So
well, actually I can see both sides of it. I can see the shoot it down crowd because, well, yeah, I mean, it's invading our airspace. But the other thing I can see is from the military perspective, what can we learn from this? So, and I'm pretty sure they could probably jam all the frequencies and stuff. So if they just circled it with a plane and jammed the frequencies, watching it might not been that big of a deal. I mean, but and I'm sure you'll show us here in a few minutes, we have a map showing exactly where it went over, and they say it wasn't controlled, but it was obviously controlled. If you look at the picture of the flight path and compare it to military installations it flew over. So there's no doubting in my mind that it was a planned thing. China showed us their balls, and our president showed them ours. So,
it's interesting though. I think we was talking about this before the show. Wasn't it Japan that actually tested a weather balloon with missiles attached to it? that were hanging from the below the balloon that could be dropped from high altitude. So,
and the Germans had, I won't say pioneered, maybe it was back at that time, but they had a technique for doing the same thing. So,
wow.
So, I mean, and I'm pretty sure everybody's like, oh, the country didn't see it coming. I'm pretty sure that NORAD saw it coming. I mean, how do you miss I think it was the size of 3 school buses or 3 big trucks or something, how do you miss that flying 60,000 to 80,000 feet? Come on, man. Don't give me that crap. There's no stealth balloons.
Well, Biden's in office, so that's probably why.
Well, I mean, it supposedly happened under the other person's watch too. So I don't know. I don't know. And that's the other thing. The government doesn't tell us all their intricate secrets. So we're not to know. So we're not smart enough. We can't handle the truth. Ooh, I'm infringing on was it Alex Jones or no? I'm sorry, it's Tom Cruise. Got him confused. So, but yeah.
Interesting. But I do have the video pulled up.
Oh yeah. So okay. Well, so you can pull up and show some pictures there of it.
Well, I actually got the video of us striking it, in midair.
In the aircraft communication, yeah,
I really do. But one thing I was telling everybody before we intercepted it and knocked it out, they were like, "What is inside the balloon?" I was like, "Well, hopefully it's not a bunch of fortune cookies." So that would have been terrible.
No, they actually make them on Ponce de Leon in Atlanta. So,
oh, do they? Okay.
That's a true story. Don't ask me how I know. I could have run a bad call there with people missing body parts that went in cookies, but.
Oh, Lord. All right. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the audio transmission and the video that was filmed right as it was taken out here. We backed it up a little bit for you. Here we go.
We got no picture.
You have no picture?
Well, not now. No. What'd you do? We had this down pat, man.
Oh, I know. I forgot to click on a button. Hold on.
Excuse me. Something stuck in my throat. Oh, I haven't been banned by the FCC yet. Tonight just may be the night. So, in a couple weeks ago, that was an ugly picture. In a couple
there we go.
I got some interesting cast on there. Okay, here we go. Make it full screen.
Here we go. Now we go.
So you can see there on the left there in that little tiny screen is all the air traffic they've moved around. And then you'll see a little military plane come flying in, and it goes boop.
There it goes.
Yep.
That is a key kill. The balloon is complete. One is out. Break one. Season one sees what appears to be metal chaff clouds. So I guess like metal breaking apart and strewn for an
it's pretty interesting how that went down. Let me watch that one more time. And you see the blue aircraft in the bottom of the screen. See it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The balloon is complete.
That's America right there.
And of course, next few minutes, it just shows it descending into the ocean where they are waiting to retrieve it. But you notice over here, the left-hand side, all the airplanes, like Sportcat said, has been detoured around the area for safety because, we don't know what's in there besides fortune cookies and some chopsticks maybe, but just to be safe.
Yep. It was an F-22 with a Sidewinder. They did a precision strike, and they took it out exactly where they wanted to. So, and I think they said it was Frank was the call sign, Frank 1, Frank 2, and they said they had splash or confirmed. Well, whatever it was, they used the call sign was in reference to the military does little things to kind of have fun themselves, like we do. They used a call sign in reference to the Frank guy. I want to say his name was Frank Wright. I'd have to go look it up, but he had shot down the most German balloons. So they used his name as a call sign for the mission. So, and it was supposedly Project Sniper. So,
oh, wow. That's interesting.
So there's one pilot with a confirmed KIA. Well, it's not really KIA, but you know, he shot another aircraft down. So they haven't done that since World War II. So, but he shot a balloon down. So, but still, that's America right there. So,
yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, do you realize how big this thing was? They said how many school buses it was?
It was like 3. Yeah, it was huge.
3 school buses.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine people across the United States was outside with binoculars and telescopes watching this thing fly across the nation?
Yeah.
Watching it. Now, we've seen pictures on Facebook with rednecks with shotguns and rifles out there waiting for it to fly across South Carolina in Kentucky and everything. Look, Christmas Hunters is in the house. Hey, Glenn.
Hello there. I did believe that Billy said it flew over his work, or his house, one or the other. I'm not sure if Billy had a bead on it or not. So,
but you know what? I'm sorry. I probably would have took a pop shot at it. Yeah.
I don't think I got anything quite that large. So,
but I mean, really, seriously, ladies and gentlemen, we are in America, right?
America.
And America. But you know, can you imagine sitting out on your back porch, drinking a Budweiser,
that's our theme song right there,
smoking a Marlboro, looking up and seeing this gigantic balloon with 3 buses attached to it, and knowing it's not us, and knowing it's from China? Are you like serious?
That right there ain't right. So.
I don't know. That kind of makes me a little bit nervous. You know, China would have shot it down right away. They would have wasted no time.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah, they would have. So,
unbelievable. So,
yeah, China would have blasted that bad boy out of the sky. So,
yeah, I still can't believe that, though. But, you know, there was probably some good intentions why we left it, like you said. That we'll probably never find out. So,
oh yeah, we'll never know. We'll find out in 40 years. But yeah, I think in some ways it probably was best to let it travel its course, because then, what is it about know your enemy, keep your enemy closer, or something like that? So maybe that's the point. I don't know, but. You know, you can pull that map up if you can find it, of one where it flew over the military installations. I sent it to you, and you can see the exact path. It was deliberate and intent. There wasn't, oh, my balloon got loose. You didn't drop your balls. Your ball was on course. So
now, what does that map look like? Tracking the Chinese balloon, or is that with the red map?
No, it should be the one with the white and red dots all over the map, and you see the path with the red dots under it.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, you know what? I saw what was really funny is that on Facebook, it said, "We're trying to contact you about your car warranty." No, I thought that was hilarious, right?
That would be India, wouldn't it? See, well, there was the area they cleared out. That was the area where they had no air traffic in, that they cleared out, that you're showing there. So, but yeah,
right there's Myrtle Beach. That's what they were talking about.
Yeah, that little button up there, the little green one up to the right, is where I like to go vacation. So,
let's see if I can do the right one. What does it look like? Is it this one? No,
that just shows the planes. Yeah, I think you go one more. I think I can't tell from here. Well, that was it where it went boom, and of course that was the balloon.
Yeah, that's one boom. That's the balloon. And here's the actual strike.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Whoever did that picture, and credit to Twitter. I don't know who. I jacked that from you. Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect shot. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was. And you said that was with the Sidewinder?
Yeah.
Sidewinder missile pierces bottom of balloon near heat signal of payload. Now, that's what got my attention. It says heat signal. So... But somebody said they were using 40 or 50, 60 year technology with new technology or something. Was that accurate?
Yes.
So
Yes, they have.
why were they doing that?
Well, maybe we weren't going to see it coming. I mean, I don't know how you miss a big ball floating in the sky, but yeah, I mean, deflated their balls quickly, and then they got upset that we shot down their ball. Poor guys.
I mean, what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, you fly something over another country, you think we're just going to let it watch and fly back over? And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, it was remote control. It had an udder, which it was able to
I think it's
control a rudder. Oh, I said udder, didn't I?
It had balls and udders.
But it did have a rudder. That is correct. So, and there's the solar panels and spy payload that was detached from the balloon, and the envelope was falling. So, I mean, that's pretty wild.
From its udders.
That's your fault, man.
Don't blame me, man.
and here's the jet right there, man. I mean, that's pretty wicked. So,
yep,
it's pretty wicked.
That's America right there. That's what I pay some of these taxes for. So that's part of the flight path, and you can see where it went boom.
But can you imagine, though, being in northern Idaho on Tuesday and just watch it just come? Can you see my mouse? My pointer?
Yeah.
You just see it coming across. I mean,
on one of the next pictures, you should have the actual military installation. So you're at the end, aren't you?
Yeah. That's actually the end.
Yeah, you went too far. We missed it or something. But it had all the military installations on the map below it. The closest one to us, I believe, was Oak Ridge in Tennessee. It's right, spewing its milk everywhere as the udder exploded. So
the udder.
I kind of blame Deacon for that comment.
But you know what's weird though is since it was controlled right remotely, how it went from almost one side of the country to the other, like you said. Paralleling all the military installations all across the country.
Yeah, see if you can pull that one up.
I actually don't. Can you resend that to me?
Heck, I don't know. You ask me do high tech stuff here while we're on.
I know. But that's what's wild is the flight pattern. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if it was not controlled, it would not have flown in this direction. It would have flown by the natural winds or the wind path, or what do you call it? The current of the winds.
Jet stream.
And wind stream, thank you. In the jet stream. There we go, jet stream. So,
that was me.
All right, stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Here, let me see if I can pull this picture up right now. Bam! There we go.
So yeah, if you look at that closely here, I can pull it up on my screen, and come on, get bigger. From the time that it really started in Montana, it went out over all of our silos through the Midwest. It, ironically enough, there's nothing interesting enough in Alabama now that their football team lost for it to go over Alabama. So it went over Tennessee. Shocker. And covered, I'm not really sure what's in the middle of Tennessee, but definitely got Oak Ridge. And then it probably had a really good view of northern Georgia and South Carolina power grid. So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what's really weird.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, what is wrong with people today? I mean, what is wrong with these countries that think they can just actually, do something like this and think they're going to get away with it? And, that's like somebody saved the what was it? The President's State of the Union for me this morning, and I watched it, and I was like, okay, interesting. Not what I wanted to see.
Did he address the?
No, not really. No,
he didn't even. I missed it. I wasn't feeling well.
Nah.
I didn't want to get sicker, so.
No.
Bobby Drizzle's unsubscribing because he got his little Alabama feelings hurt. So.
Yeah, sorry, Bobby. I'm sorry about that, man. Hey, I didn't bring it up, brother. I didn't. But yeah,
hey, Tennessee wins for the first time in how many years? I gotta have my fun while it lasts, because it won't last. Well, I don't know if the dynasty's over. We may have a good run. So, but And for those nobody that's in the know, Bobby Drizzle and I, he's a good friend of mine. We go back and forth about sports often, and he's an Alabama fan, and of course I'm a Tennessee Vol fan, and Tennessee did actually beat Alabama this year. So and you need the sound of a dying elephant. Do you have that noise? Because that's a
No, I don't. I feel like Redstone Arsenal isn't getting the respect it deserves. LOL, Bobby says.
Well, that and what's the one down by the Georgia line? Anniston. That's a pretty nasty little place too. So yeah, there's a lot of dirty little nasty things going on down in Anniston. So yeah,
unbelievable.
But yeah, they figured that once the dynasty was over with Alabama football, the Chinese had no interest in flying their balls over it. So that's my story.
Well, look! Somebody just said Alabama wasn't interesting enough for the balloon to fly over it. Anniston Army Depot is what Bobby Dizzle said. So
yep. There's some very nasty things there. I've had some classes there. You want to talk about being strip searched? You ain't been strip searched until you've been on that base.
Oh Lord, really? Is it that bad?
Yeah. I took a hazardous materials class. I'm a hazmat technician, tox medic, and we went out there with live stuff, live kill you shit. So I said it first tonight. Hey, okay, all right. So it took 142 minutes for me to cuss, but you did it in like 20.
Yeah.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Oh my Lord. Unbelievable. See,
so you got me talking about Alabama. What could I do?
Unbelievable.
But
what else is going on? Yeah. So what else are we going to talk about today?
Well, I sent you a link I found of the Jacksonville Police Department down in Florida, sunny Florida. They never let us down. Apparently, multiple undercover, but there's two that engaged apparently the suspect, and he decided to flee. So he had a knife, and for some reason, we were talking about knives last show. As a general rule, you don't let them get close to you. And so this officer didn't let him get close to him.
I'm trying to pull it up as you speak.
Yeah, I figured you were. I was trying to stall there, hoping my sidekick would help me a little bit there.
It's like really going slow. I don't know what it's like. It's not the YouTube video. Did you send me the YouTube video?
Well, it's on the site. You click on the YouTube link to the. You know what I'm saying? But
here we go.
Yeah. So the officers got into a foot pursuit in one officer was in a car, and he had a gun. I'm sorry, he had a knife, and he wouldn't drop the knife and listen to the officer's warnings, and so he got shot. Boo got shot.
The video is age restricted and only available on YouTube. Send me the YouTube link, Cletus.
You really annoy me because mine didn't do that. You must have some age restriction things on.
No, I don't have no age restriction on there. Come on, man.
You got it on there for geriatric. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was going to talk to you about that. I was going to talk to us about all that. Good Lord, just give me YouTube.
Yeah, because last show we was talking about, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about how dangerous it is a person with a knife compared to a person with a gun. And a lot of people say that, I have a firearm or a handgun on me, that I'm pretty big, bad, and I'm safe, that I am invincible because I can draw my gun out and shoot you before you can even get to me with your pocket knife. Well, that is actually not the physical case in reality. And in law enforcement, they teach us the 21-foot rule. In self-defense classes, they may teach it a little bit further or more. And what that rule means is that, for example, imagine yourself standing on a firing range, okay? And you have your handgun in your holster. and you have somebody on the other side behind you with their hand on your shoulder. Now, the firing range master tells you when I blow my whistle, I want you to fire one shot as quickly as you can onto that target 7 yards in front of you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 7 yards is not that far. We're talking 21 feet. And that's not far, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a football fan, you know what 7 yards is. So, while you are doing that, there is a person that is touching your shoulder, is going to run in the opposite direction, is going to be holding a weighted down flag in his or her hand. When that whistle blows, that person is going to run as fast as they can. When they hear that gunshot go off, they will drop that flag and they will turn around and measure that distance. And that will show you the distance it will take for that person to draw that firearm out and to pop that person before that person gets to you with the knife. And the golden rule is 21 foot or below, you're in a danger zone. And I think the first time I did my test, I think mine was like 17 or 18 feet. A lot of them were like in the 23s, 25 feet. A lot of the older officers, they were in the 26, 27 feet, you know. And what we're saying is, as a person runs up to you, before I can get my firearm out of the holster to save my life, I would probably already be stabbed 2 or 3 times before I can get my gun out and actually defend myself against that attacker with that knife. And that's what we're trying to say here. Now, I will have to say that it is saying warning that it is kind of graphic. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. This is a good training video here. Let me pull it up on the other screen here. Stand by. Let me pause it here. Bring the volume up some here. If it's too loud, just let me know, ladies and gentlemen here. Let me go back here, hit another button.
You got a lot of
and
buttons.
Voila. Yeah, I got a lot of buttons. Hit this button, hit this button. And this is the Males Officer Body Worn Camera. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, just be cautious. Make sure there's no little kids around in the vicinity watching this. I don't want nobody to have any nightmares or see anything that's terrible. So here we go. And it should take it a minute for the. There we go.
Hey, he's got knife! He's got knife! Drop the knife now! Drop the knife!
Look at all those officers back there.
Here, y'all ready? We're good. I got you, cuff. I got you.
Now, I'm going to pause this for a second. And if I don't mind, Sportcat, I'm going to speak on this for a second, okay?
Yeah, because I mean, look at all he's shooting through a fence.
Well, wait a minute. Hold up. Now, let's watch this again.
All right.
And I want to say something. I'm gonna let everybody watch this video again.
Hey, he's got knife! He's got knife! Drop the knife now! Drop the knife!
Look at that. He shot it to the police car.
Hold up. Stop. Hold up, Sportcat. I know you get real excited. Now hold up. Now, ladies and gentlemen.
I do.
Now, this is just my opinion only, okay? Now, this is just Grizzly's opinion only. When you watch that video, what are you seeing? I want you to stop and think. What did you just see? Not once, but twice. You saw what I believe from my eyesight with my glasses. You saw a person, a male subject, running parallel to a metal fence holding a knife.
Like a caged animal, yes.
And Deacon says the guy running away. That is correct. Running away.
Yeah.
Was he facing towards the officer?
Didn't appear to be. Nope.
Now, what Sportcat gets all excited about, look at all the officers responding on the other side of that fence, pulling up to see what's going on. And that officer is chasing that guy with that knife. Now, was he and I'm pro law enforcement, no disrespect to anybody. Was he, in your opinion only, we are not attorneys, we're not a judge, a jury, or a trial, putting anybody on trial at all. Do you think he was actually legally justified using deadly physical force? Yes or no? And I'm going to play that video one more time. Here we go. Stand by. Oop. Yeah, back to stream here.
No, what did you do to me?
Here we go.
Got the knife now! Got the knife!
Look at all those cars. Look at all those cars. Come on, man.
Now, I know there's probably a lot of things going through that officer's mind. But my thing is how in the world can you articulate that in a report or to a jury, why you use deadly physical force? We need to ban all assault knives. Well, I mean, we can go back and ban this. We could ban that. I'll go to baseball bats. Go back to chains. Back in the old days, I mean, they'll find something to
out
use.
of a rock. So yeah,
I mean, slingshots. I mean,
but no, I mean, he was running parallel. First off, and this is just my 2 cents worth.
But he had to run parallel, Sportcat, because he was
like a caged animal. It was fenced in on both sides.
He was stuck.
Had him. He couldn't go anywhere. Now, if he had been coming at the officer, I would probably be a little more officer friendly on this one. I'm pro blue line. I support the cops. But first off, what was he doing shooting at the other cops, his buddies? I mean, maybe he doesn't like them. I don't know. But if I understood the story correctly, they knew who the guy was. He had his 8-year-old kid in the car. So this is going to be the other thing that gets me wound up. So, I mean, and he was found with like a gram of meth and like, I think a couple $100 worth of weed, some pills. I mean, he was a bad guy. Let's not skew the facts here. He was a bad guy. He was selling dope. He was slinging dope. They still have rights. So he was a bad guy, but then the police, once they shoot him, they charge him. How the hell are you going to charge a dead guy? And then
you can actually charge dead people, yes.
For what? They already served their sentence.
So it doesn't matter. You can actually take a sentence off of a dead person as well.
Well, I get the legalities of it, but it sounds like you're stacking to me because they added in there unauthorized use of a two-way radio. Okay. Unauthorized use of a two-way radio. What in the actual Sam hell does that mean? Because he didn't have a knife in one hand and a two-way radio in the other going, hey, Jimmy, come pick me up at 5th and K.
Now, hold up. Now, being in law enforcement and on the media, we did not see the whole footage going down. So we only saw a clip it. Okay. We didn't see in the very beginning whatnot. So I understand what you're saying. But my problem is the only thing I have an issue with is that he was running away, not a threat. He did not lunge towards the officer.
No, not one time.
He did not come towards the officer with the knife. He was running away towards the officer with the knife. And the officer fired, I forgot how many times. Was it 6 or 7 or 8?
He emptied the clip.
No, he didn't empty it. It was close, but no, he didn't empty it. No.
Well, he was still shooting as he was going. And I don't really have a problem with that because at that point in time, your training is kicked in and you shoot till the
threat is ceased.
The threat is ceased. Yeah. So that I don't necessarily have a problem with. Where a lot of people get confused. In the military, it's the opposite because you're conserving your ammo because you don't know how big your enemy may always be. So it's the opposite of the military. So believe that or not. All of our millions of dollars of bullets that we have, and we tell our military, shoot one at a time, or I don't know what I think theirs is triple tap. But at any rate, the point is, I don't get, you know what? It just hit me.
What?
If that guy had been our fan, he'd probably be alive. He would listen to us when we said, don't wave a knife at a cop. It's a bad idea.
I wouldn't do it anyways. I mean,
I have never had a reason to wave a knife at anybody. So, but my point is, I don't get that he was shooting over people. The guy was parallel. So,
but and that's the thing is that we wasn't the officer that was involved, and unfortunately, we wasn't thinking what the officer was thinking, and what we see is probably not what he was thinking, what he was seeing, because his adrenaline was pumping, and of course he was running, and his heart and his adrenaline. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Grizzly is not making an excuse, ladies and gentlemen, for anybody in this world for doing what has been done. So do not get that confused by any means. I want to make sure and have everybody to understand that, please. But I also have, yes, I do want to proceed.
I was going to put the gun up.
All right. Now, I also have another video here where it actually is a knife attack. And I want to show this one because this one's a different view about what actually does happen.
But it's not this. It's not this call or not this scenario. No. It's a total different thing. Okay. All right.
Now watch this.
I haven't seen this one because I haven't seen this one. So.
Just a second.
Now this may be kind of graphic, ladies and gentlemen. So I haven't seen this one in a little while.
There's a fire truck there, wasn't it? He just passed a fire truck.
Now you hear one of the officers, the adrenaline's already pumping up.
Well, you say,
put the knife down. Put the knife down. Put it down.
You see,
one at gunpoint.
Now hold up. Listen.
Put the knife down. Put it down. Hey, back up. He's not complying to command. Central is coming at us with a knife. Knife down. Knife down. Put the knife down, sir, please. Put the knife down. Put it down, man, please.
Maybe he wants to drive a police car.
Please. Put it down.
Suicide by cop, probably.
That's what a lot of these are, yeah.
No, no. No. No, please don't. Do it. Please don't. Do it. No. Do it. Central, we need units here, 1018. Put the knife down.
Now, see, he has.
Watch what's getting ready to happen. This is scary.
Put it down.
Yeah, there's fire truck. I've been there. And a lot of people don't realize, having been on the public safety part, we don't
watch. Wait a minute. Hold up, Clint. Hold on, Sportcat. This is going to get real serious real fast.
You hear that? That's fire truck de-assing the scene right there. I know that sound. Except for those truckies.
Put it down. Hands behind your back! No!
Rewound it one more time.
No, I wondered. I thought I was seeing deja vu there.
Hands behind your back! No! Get on the ground! Get back! No! Go! Get on the ground, man! No! Stop!
Now, we couldn't watch the rest of that because it turned out pretty bad.
I think I've seen the rest of it, but yeah.
Yeah, it turned out pretty bad. So, oh, sorry, hold on. Let me pause this real quick. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it was very loud.
Yeah, it was.
But this is what we're talking about, how dangerous it is. The guy was already shot multiple times. And we see TV that you get shot and you drop, you fly 10 feet, 12 feet back, you know, you get propelled. That's not actually what happens.
No.
When you are pumped and your adrenaline is raised and you are either high or strung out or messed out or whatnot, you know, tasers, like Deacon says, yeah, tasers probably won't work, you know. So Glenn, you can talk about it from the medic standpoint, but
I've seen them running towards the ambulance with a knife hanging out of them and shot. So yeah, it's not like Hollywood portrays it, but you know, that officer, that guy either had I guess either way you look at it, he had some type of problem where he needed to get assistance. Unfortunately, he got, you know, Smith & Wesson assistance, but yeah, he wanted to probably die by cop. And that we see that a lot. And I was going to tell you before you cut me off, you know, a lot of my friends who are police officers, a good friend of mine described a high-speed pursuit that he could hop out of that car and pull a Volkswagen with dental floss between his teeth. And I always think back to that because that was early in my career. He told me that. And, you know, we get the same adrenaline, but we don't have that same we have other problems, but you know, we don't have somebody coming at us with, we shouldn't have somebody coming at us with a gun. So,
well, what was amazing, or I shouldn't say amazing, what was sad though is the guy was already shot multiple times. He fell, he regained his footing, and he went back and not only attacked the cop, but got behind the cop and was probably stabbing the cop with the knife, and the other officer didn't know what to do, you know, and that's why they cut the video off, because the other officer did get severely injured.
Yeah, he got cut a couple times really severely, but it ended up a point blank where they walk up and had to, you know,
unfortunately, he had to do the unstoppable, but unbelievable.
But you know, I don't know the case. I've seen that video. I don't know the situation. I mean, obviously that person, I don't want to say he was mentally unfit, but I don't think anyone in our society comes running at a officer with a knife. So I don't know. He probably wanted to die by cop. It's unfortunate. Well, that guy, I think it was in Kentucky actually, that rigged his house to blow up and called the police. That guy was off too, and they shot him in his side yard. Didn't open the door and it went boom. So,
yeah, that's right. He did his propane tank, didn't he?
I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it was a pretty big deal too, because I don't think they had like any warning. They just tried to go in and figure it out. So,
he didn't give him time to drop it, and he wasn't immediately endangering anyone. Which video are you talking about? We're talking about the one we just watched.
He's probably talking about the
other one,
the first one. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. That one to me, like I said, I'm pro police, but that one, and what the hell with a radio? What unauthorized use of a two-way? You still haven't explained that one. How the hell do you stack a charge of unauthorized use of a two-way radio? First off, what does that mean? Second off, how the hell do you stack that charge?
There's something we missed, or there's something that they had to add for some reason.
He had a cell phone in his pocket or something, and you're like, oh, we can charge him with unauthorized use of a two-way communication. Some of that's a bit stretch. I mean, charging a dead guy is kind of pointless to me. I mean, I understand the investigation's got to go through, and it's got to be determined if it's a good shooting, a bad shooting, what.
I mean, there is a lengthy process, ladies and gentlemen. It's not, you know, another department comes in and looks and says, okay, you're good. No, I mean, there's actually a lengthy process. There is
I think they have like the state Bureau
police
of Investigation or something. Yeah. So but all right, well, we've talked about no sad stuff. So I was trailer and thought about you because you know you're the Grizzly. And it's got a connection to actually that other scenario we just discussed. and to both Kentucky and Tennessee. It's called Cocaine Bear. I think it's coming out. Yeah, it's coming out February 24th. And it's got some celebrities you'll probably recognize. I watched the trailer and I'm like, okay, they really ad-libbed the hell out of this, because I remember when it happened in Tennessee. But once again, we'll add our public safety part in there because it starts with a scene with medics. Did you find the trailer?
Yeah, I got the trailer. So you're telling me this is a true story?
Well, it's a true story that Hollywood embellished, because nobody really knows what the bear did besides for get high and tear some stuff up and then die. So he didn't kill anybody. There's no one savagely murdered by a bear.
All right, then I got to see this. All right, you got me going on this one. All right, here we go. Let's play
it. Starts with an EMS scene. So this is how you know it's going to be a good movie. It starts with an EMS scene. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that don't look good. And that is when it's time to de-ass the system.
Millions of dollars worth of cocaine fell from the sky this morning in Knoxville, Tennessee.
There's more of this out there. They dumped it somewhere.
I'm looking for my daughter.
Forest is a dangerous place.
Hey, Henry, check
Bigfoot out there.
I got into it. A deer, maybe.
A deer.
A lot of cocaine was lost. No, don't eat that. Don't eat that. Let's see what kind of that has on.
Oh my God.
A bear! Cocaine!
It was a bear.
Bear?
It was fuck.
Hey!
You're safe. Bears can't climb trees.
Of course they can!
Oh shit! Get higher, baby.
It kind of seems like the thing that stays with the man forever.
Apex predator. High on cocaine. None of it's mine. Oh man, you fucked.
What the fuck is wrong with that bear?
Baby.
Shoot it, man!
Bear, speed up!
Higher, baby. And don't ever come down.
Cliffhanger. I gotta know how it ends now.
Are you serious?
February 24th. I will be in line. Yeah, in 1985, I believe it was. His name was also Thornton, which was the same last name of the guy that was in the shooting in the other video. He was an ex-paratrooper, ex-Lexington narcotics officer, police officer.
Go figure.
And this was apparently his second time having done this. He strapped $4,500 in cash, a couple government issue 45s, and 79 pounds of cocaine to his back and jumped out of a plane. The plane they never did found. Still to this day, as I understand it, they've never found it. And then secondly, he had too much weight. I mean, aside for the 79 pounds of coke, I'm sure the guns and the cash and all the other stuff. And so his parachute failed, and he fell to his death with a lot of, I think it was like at the time it was like $1 million or 1.3 or so. It was a lot of money worth of cocaine. But apparently this guy had a history of doing this and worked for some, do you work for a drug cartel or whatever you call them, gang? But he was in with them, so he had a history. But yeah, he fell to his death, and so Hollywood picked up the storyline that a bear ate cocaine and then went on a killing spree. So that part is not true, but the rest is true. So, and the bear, after it died, has a twisted history as well. The bear was owned by Waylon Jennings, It was bought for several $1 million, and now it's in a mall in Lexington, Kentucky.
That is true. Yeah.
So yeah, and you know what? And that officer had too small of a gun for the bear.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, might as well use a slingshot or something, you know? I mean, come on.
But yeah,
I mean,
that,
where'd you find this?
it's coming to movie theaters. It's a real thing. So I didn't even make this one up. This isn't even some Sundance film Sportcat says thing. No, this is a real thing. So maybe I'll go to Knoxville and see it with my good buddy Deacon. So maybe I'll do that. So
Yeah, Michael says BB gun. He was listening to a play scanner app on his cell phone. Oh, mercy. Unbelievable.
You know what? You could be right. Now that he said that, he could have been right about that.
Yeah, you know, that does make a valid point because, you know, now here in Louisville, they actually have it delayed now on the mobile scanner app to where it's like either a 3 or 5 minute delay from the broadcast to it gets to your cell phone on the app, so you don't actually know what's going on right away.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there is a time delay now.
Yeah,
So-
some cities are actually being aggressive, or is it progressive? I don't know, whichever it is, and doing that so that the citizens, because it is sometimes. I'm an old scanner listener. I grew up listening to the scanner when it was all back on the old crystal radio. It's nice to know what's going on in your community. It's nice to be nosy. So,
we used to listen to the neighbors' conversations on their cordless telephones.
well, see, now that would be illegal, so I never partook in that. So
Oh,
therefore,
whatever. Whatever.
But
Yes, there are charges for using the scanner in a commission of a crime. That is correct.
yeah, that's what I was pissed off about. What is this
Yeah,
unauthorized use of a two-way radio?
Did the bear die for cocaine overdose? Now, I was not going to try to Narcan that bear. Sorry, I'm not getting that close.
Mike, you're the new EMT. Hop on that for me. I'll be right up here.
No, thank you.
Oh, yep,
Oh,
yep. Mike's
God.
right. But yeah. So I think I now have a date in Tennessee. I hope my wife's not listening to this. So I got a date in Tennessee with a hot chick to see a killer bear movie. So sweet. So
That did look kind of funny, though. It really did.
you know, see, that's one of the things. I enjoy movies that make you laugh. And I know that one's kind of a horror movie, but you know, it's so stupid. It's you know, funny. So I kind of go for that slapstick. So
Wow.
I've always been a fan of the slapstick humor kind of thing. So in fact, I actually just bought some, and I was going to try and read them before the show, but I've had a cold this week, so I haven't felt well. There's I think it's Image Comics did Sesame Street after they've all been fired from PBS, and there was a nuclear war, and they now live. Sesame Street is now the ghetto. So I can't wait to read and review that. Yeah, it's a series out from Image Comics. So that I downloaded and want to read. I was going to try and read it to talk about it on the show, but I'm just
Andy
No,
said
I
yes.
haven't.
Listening to phone calls was great. It was because you actually caught your neighbors like cheating on their husbands and vice versa, and listening to their secret gory details and conversations, and like, oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Deacon's like, we're going to be laughing our butts off and get thrown out. If I see you all two, Deacon and Sportcat, on CNN because of this movie, yeah.
First off, I want to be seen on Fox.
Yeah, Fox. Michael was like, spicy talk. Yeah, it was spicy talk. Because I never forget, man, because when I first got my scanner when I was a kid, or when I was a little bit older, you know, I put it in the living room on purpose. And we had the charts for the cordless phones, how they start going up megahertz, the new ones that are coming out. So I programmed it on purpose. So when I was at school, I knew my mom, she would always turn it on and listen to the neighbors' conversations. It was hilarious because she would always forget to turn it off before I get home from school, I'm like, Mom, you're busted. I was not listening. Yeah, I can hear me right now talking to Jewel. So anyways, yes.
Yeah. You could do that. And there for a while, you could monitor cell phones when they were in 800 megahertz. And then
yeah, you sure could.
Some congressman got busted on a cell phone outside of DC. I remember that story. I lived up there.
That was Mr. Wiener, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was him or not, to be honest. But
that was him sending pictures. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he sent pictures. Yeah, the New York guy.
Right.
Yeah. No, this guy was talking to his.
There you go, Michael. He's got the megahertz. He remembers.
Yep, he's absolutely right. 46.61 to 46.92, 900 to 902. So yeah.
And much more.
That's right. And so I'm very pro listening to communications too. So that's why I didn't understand unauthorized use, but Billy may have hit the nail on the head. He could have had a scanner app on his phone. They stacked the charge on a dead guy. Stupidest thing ever. He's already served his sentence. He got overcharged for a sentence. So, but yeah,
I mean, people get 900 years, in prison. So, I mean, that's ridiculous, but.
Oh yeah. But I mean, the guy obviously, like I said, he had done bad things. They had him on, I don't know, body cam or some kind of cam, or he had sold dope, and he had stuff on him. So yeah, he was a bad dude. So
Michael, hold on. I want to address Michael's comment here. Yes, Michael, I remember when we had cell phones, radio telephones in cars. I remember when I was in high school, when we didn't have air conditioners, right, in our cars. We used to drive around town, and we used to see women. We used to roll up our windows and drive around and sweat and act like we had air, and everybody was like, "Look, man, they got air." When we used to impress the ladies, and then when cell phones came out, yes, and then when cell phones came out, they came out in purses. So then we would drive around with the windows up and act like we were talking on the phone. That was like $2.95 a minute or something. Remember that? And we were just like,
no, that was your 900 number you were calling. So.
And we would just wave and act like we were talking on the phone. Like, look, he's got a cell phone. He's on it. Man, we were the talk of the town, Michael. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Mike was like, yes, I agree. And everybody's like, can I use your phone? I'm like, no.
No, it's cost too much money. I worked at Radio Shack, and they actually gave me one when I became I was an assistant manager. I don't know. They installed it in my car. So I had like the old kind, with the antenna on the outside and an actual handset. Yeah, I had that.
Yeah.
So Radio Shack at that time, well, that's probably part of the reason they went out of business, but wanted to keep up with their employees. So you couldn't have an excuse. You had to have a beeper and a cell phone. Beeper, pager, I don't know.
I had a pager. I had. I'll tell you how far back I go. Now, I never did one of those pagers where you were sitting in a restaurant and goes, shh, hey, would you pick up a loaf of bread, you asshole? Because that was so embarrassing that you'd be out in public.
The audio one.
Yes. And the girlfriend or wife would cuss you out or something in public.
Yeah, I never had one of those. Yeah.
So, now mine, always had the numeric display. Then it got fancy. Then you got the weather, the sports, and all that other stuff. Yeah, the sky pager. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then then you had your own 800 telephone number you give out, and people would call an operator. Oh, hold on, let me try this again.
Hello, you have reached Grizzly's telephone. Would you like to send a message?
And you would talk, and they would type it out across the pager, your message, as a text.
Alphanumeric.
Yes, yeah, tone and yes, they would absolutely, and it was hilarious, and I thought I was top dog back then because the ladies were like, "Wow, he's got his own operator, man." You know what I'm saying? Somebody's in the house here. Ryan Willis. Who's this?
Ryan Willis. Uh-oh. That's one of my old supervisors. I better not say anything too bad. So.
Oh, Lord. Is it that time already?
Yeah. No. Oh, no. We're talking. Oh, I thought you were talking about something else. Okay. No. All right. So, Ryan, I thought you said Ron. Ryan. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's that time. It's 10 o'clock. So, the other part of our show tonight, we've found some other people like us that go out in the woods looking for crazy things. We're gonna have. I hope they hear me over this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Ryan Willis. He is the host of a new TV show coming out called Bigfoot University, and they said that their goal is to educate the public about the Squatch and the foot, spread discussion in an I'm trying to read this off an academic setting, and he wants to use real science. So, welcome, Ryan.
Hey, welcome there, man. Welcome to our show. That's right. Hey, we got beer. So what's going on there, man?
Yeah, so like you guys said, we're doing the new show, Sasquatch University, and it's coming to the Wild TV network soon.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much. And some of my co-host, like we talked about in the emails and stuff, should be popping in soon. I think. I'm surprised they're not here already, but
actually, bam, he is here, Mr. Joe Porter. Hello,
hey,
welcome.
Joe.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
Doing good. Welcome.
You guys probably weren't expecting party music to a Sasquatch podcast.
No, that might be a first for me, actually.
Well, I think I'm not sure if I told you or if I was saying, Grizzly is the serious one and I'm the slapstick humor guy and try and keep things a little bit light. But I do go out in the woods and I look for the big-footed creatures. And, I actually was supposed to be out this weekend doing it, but I'm not going to be able to join my team, so.
No, that's too bad.
Yeah. Well, and so you guys are taking a scientific approach to it. Is that my understanding of this? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we founded the Trent University Sasquatch Society. If you guys have heard of that before, and so we really try to take an academic approach with everything we do. Obviously investigating Sasquatch. So, that's kind of how. We want the show to go as well, and really to have a scientific stance, and I guess just look at everything through an academic lens, so to speak. Yeah.
So now, have either of you actually had an encounter or an experience? I know you probably don't want to give away anything from the show, but
I mean, I personally have not had anything I can say was a Sasquatch experience or something I could attribute to Sasquatch. I've heard some strange howls and things like that, out in the woods doing my own little investigations and whatnot. But yeah, unfortunately, nothing yet I can say is a Sasquatch. But hopefully, doing the show, that'll change.
Cool. What about you, Joel? Have you ever had any experiences?
I mean, I've had one experience that's somewhat out of the ordinary. I don't know if I would call it a Sasquatch experience, but as of yet, I have no explanation for it. So that's one running theory. I could talk about it if you would like.
Oh, absolutely. Man.
So this was just last year, about end of April. It was as soon as exams were over, right before I started on my summer job. I was out for a walk at like 12 or 1 in the morning for some reason. But there's this peninsula near the university where I go to, Trent University. It has a lot of trails around it, a lot of nature areas. And, you wouldn't think you'd have an encounter with anything there because it's so close to civilization. It's right next to the city of Peterborough. There's about 100,000 people who live there. But I was walking on this one trail and there's this peninsula where it's one way. So you walk to the end of it, and then you have to turn around and come back. And there's water on either side. So I get to the end of this and I can hear something behind me. So I would have to turn around and go through the same path to get away. But I'm like, okay, it's probably just a dude or something like that. And this thing jumps in the water in April at like 1 a.m. It's gonna be really cold.
Yeah,
The ice
you're
just
way up north
melted.
there.
Yeah.
It's cold here in Georgia.
Yeah. But it wasn't like just a beaver or something, because I heard this big splash. It was like a person jumping in the water. Maybe, I don't know, 20 yards behind me. And I hear this thing and I hear it swimming up to the front of the peninsula, because I'm right at the end of it, surrounded by water on the other 3 sides. And all I can see is this little, I don't know if I would say patch of fur, but this little patch, sticking out of the water, swimming towards the end of the peninsula, and it comes up beside me. And then it's like right there, maybe about 10 feet away in the water.
Wow.
And I just hear a kind of, it's like a growl. It was like a growling sound, like a combination of water. And then as soon as I got home, I was looking up a bunch of animal sounds to try and match it. But as soon as I heard it make that sound, I was like, oh, okay, I'm out of here. It was at the same part of the peninsula as me.
Right.
So I wouldn't have to pass it to get away. So I was
exactly.
I was booking it.
How
so
deep
I got out of there.
Water was there?
Sorry?
How deep do you think the water was there?
I'd say, I'd had a friend who'd waded across, because it's kind of a peninsula in the middle of a river. It kind of sticks out. And I'd say maybe 4 feet deep, maybe 5 or 6 at its deepest point. But it's not very deep. Like if anything was tall, it would have to be like hunched over in the water, or just swimming kind of horizontal.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so I got out of there as quick as I could.
I don't blame you.
And then, once I was maybe 100 yards away, I turned around, couldn't see anything, didn't want to stick around. But yeah, anyways, when I got home, I kind of matched it to a wolverine. Like that's what the growl sounded similar to. But the only problem is, the splash that I heard was definitely not the size of a wolverine, because they maybe get to 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Like they're not, I don't know, they're not huge. They're not going to make like a big man-sized splash. And I thought maybe a bear, but it's very unlikely, even wolverines as well, that they'd be in that area. There's wildlife, but it's more like birds and squirrels, etc.
Well, it sounded like it had intent too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other. Yeah, it knew you were there and it was coming. I don't want to say at you, but yeah, it sounded like intent. So whatever it was had, cognitive thought enough to say, I'm going to try and intimidate this person. So
intimidate. That made him run.
Well, wouldn't you?
Out. Yeah, I'll be like, George of the jungle, watch out for that tree.
I was waiting on you to be over there saying, my ass to be out of there. So every time somebody tells him a scary story, he runs, and I'm like, you're a cop. You're a cop, for God's sake.
I tell you. Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, man. First thing I would have heard, somebody would have been walking up in the middle of the night. I would have probably thought it was a crackhead, meth head in the woods making meth or something, right?
I don't know that they do that up there.
It might have been Joel, with us being in Peterborough.
Yeah.
But hitting the water and hearing something that big go ka-splash, yeah, I think that would have got my attention real quick.
Especially when you know how cold it is. So, whew.
Yeah, and seeing fur, and seeing fur, no, I'm gone. I'm not sticking around. No, not at all.
See, told you. So don't have him on your show. He'll be knocking the camera crew over to run and get out of the way.
I will trip you with my cane. So somebody's got to take it for the team. So. That's for sure.
That's always the joke at our team. I'll be the one that they get because I'm the old, slow, fat one, so they'll throw me down.
Yeah, you don't have to outrun the Sasquatch. You just have to outrun the guy behind you.
Exactly. So have you guys started filming this already, or?
No, not yet, but we plan to quite soon. So we're
Okay.
really looking forward to it.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
now, there's another person I guess that couldn't be here tonight, but that's also on your team. So there's 3 of you.
Yeah, there's 3 of us, and I'm kind of surprised. He said he'd be here, so I'm wondering
I
where.
think he said he's apparently backstage in the show.
Oh,
I don't see him.
Hmm.
Let me scroll down and make sure. I don't
Well,
see him. Do you see him, Sportcat?
I can't. I don't have access to that. You don't give me permission to see that stuff.
Yeah, I don't see
He
him.
doesn't trust me with buttons. So
Hold on here.
my producer does not trust me with buttons, and he was the first one to actually cuss on our show. So you know.
Let me kick this one off. Let's see. Remove.
Oh, who's he? He's kicking people off. What does it say? What did they do to you? Why are you kicking them off already? Good Lord, Grizzly.
I don't
Calm
see
down.
anybody because usually I'll see a silhouette of the person. No, I don't see anybody back screen. Does he see us at all?
He's typing right now. I tried telling him to leave and try to join again.
Yeah, tell him to leave
yeah.
and rejoin. We definitely want him in here. Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Oh yeah. Well, I was going to tell you all are our first guest. So with this is actually our second episode. Grizz and I teamed up. I did a podcast before back. I don't know. It was like 2019 or something like that for a while, and I was busy as a flight medic and just kind of let it drift off. And Grizz and I got together, and he's like, we need to take your knowledge of things out in the woods that go bump in the night and my knowledge of law enforcement and do a show. So we kind of teamed up. We rebooted my old show, and we got a bunch of people that are into Bigfoot on here. I guess you guys can look over on the right there. There's a comment section there, and there's a whole chat going on about us. So I try not to look at it because they'll say bad things about me. But so we invited a bunch of people, and then the premise of our show is that we want to have fun, but we also do, like you guys, want to educate because we believe there's something out there, and what it is, nobody's really figured out yet. And I like the fact that you're going to use science to do it, and that's the best way to do it. Now, the team that I'm with, I go over to a group in another state over, and they do. We have actually seen a portal. We have video footage of a portal. So,
wow.
is
that available on YouTube?
No, it is
okay.
not. It is currently being negotiated with a production crew, TV production crew. But yes, and also I don't know if Grumpy's in the chat tonight. From Killing Bigfoot, Grumpy is one of my friends. He's usually in there. 2 of the teammates actually stumbled into it while I was trying to maintain base camp communications. And they described the portal as cold, dark, void of sound, and they felt like they were in a trance. And they managed to find their way out of it. And they
look what we have.
They were only in there for a few seconds, but both of them ended up being very sick afterwards. So,
wow. And then was the portal like whereabouts? If you're allowed to say whereabouts was all this? Like, it's pretty cool.
Well, it was in. I can't for non-disclosure reasons, but it's in the south, not far from me. So it's a national forest. And if you read a lot of the David Pilates stuff, he talks about portal. Well, he doesn't really use the word portal, but he talks about Joel, you were saying water. That's a big thing with people disappearing by water, time of day, stuff like that, and they just vanish without a trace. So,
well, not only that, they also have something usually wrong with them. What do you call it? Mental capabilities or handicap capabilities or something.
Well, I mean, I don't think all the ones that disappeared are. No,
they do. Some of them do. They actually. I'm 401. Cody, your mic is muted, by the way. Welcome. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, Cody. Welcome to the show.
Talking trash about you, so you got to tell us all about yourself now. So.
Oh, that's okay. It's funny you guys are talking about Missing 411. I just watched the original and then the hunted versions about like a week ago.
Oh, good.
So.
Good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe just to catch Cody up, maybe tell him about the portal and everything if you guys don't mind. I'm sure he'd love to hear about that.
Oh, did you catch all that, Cody? One of the teams
I did miss the portal part there.
Yeah, one of the teams I researched, we were having night operations, and out of nowhere, this cube, basically is the best way to describe it, appears and opens up. We didn't see anything come or go out of that one, but the one that the team that was down in the middle of a meadow, and it's actually a book by Trey Hudson called The Meadow Project, describes the whole thing, was trying to find the portal, and there was teams all around. Picture basically like a kill box, if you know what that is. There were teams up on the side of the ridge, saying, okay, go to your east, go to your west, go left, go right. And they actually stumbled into it because they couldn't hear, even though they had perfect communications and they were down in the meadow and everybody else was from a higher vantage point, they couldn't hear them down in the meadow when they got to a certain proximity of the portal, and they stumbled in it. And then once they were in it, of course, I'm base camp martyr. I'm usually, because I'm paramedic, the communications officer, they don't want to sacrifice me, I guess. I don't know. So I'm listening to them kind of freak out, and they're trying to talk them out, but they couldn't hear any of that. And I don't know if you heard, but one of them ended up actually, I guess I can say he died. He had a sudden medical condition years later, not years, but not long afterwards. And he was SF in great shape and passed away. It's a long, complicated story. And the other one got very sick. So after being in the portal. So,
jeez.
Yeah. Sorry to hear about, the passing and everything.
Oh, he was a warrior. He was a great team member. Yeah, we loved him to death. He had a massive and an acute onset heart attack for no apparent reason, and was in I think his 40s. So yeah.
Wow.
At any rate, you don't want to hear my story. I talk about that enough. Everybody listens to me babble all the time. We want to hear about you guys. So, Cody, have you had any experiences yet? Joel, there, he was chased down by the water.
I have nothing that I will say was a Bigfoot experience. Probably the closest thing I've had so far. So I live in an area called Grey County up here in Ontario, and the area I was researching is near a town called Owen Sound. And I've been to this area several times. A couple interesting things, but I was going through this area one morning about 8 a.m. and on my left side, I could hear just brush break, and it was something bigger than what's up there. Usually I run into raccoons, porcupines, that kind of thing, but this was big. So I found a little side trail. I started to go down it. I'm down there maybe, like a maybe 5-minute walk, if that. And I stopped because I can hear it. It sounds like it's about 50 feet, 50 yards in front of me, I should say. And it's just breaking branches. It's loud. So I stop, and the only thing I could think of, I set my camera down and I grab a stick and I just hit a tree a couple times, do a couple tree knocks. And this thing stops. And then all of a sudden, a bunch more brush breaks. And I have a stick come flying towards me, like end over end. Almost. Gotcha. And that's what threw me off, and I just booked it off that trail.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
But I mean, I try to take like not a skeptical, but like a reasonable approach to the subject. So I mean, that could have been a person. It could have been, a squirrel breaking something higher up, and it just coming down at a weird angle to me, and I was all amped up to it. It could have been several things. So.
Okay, Cody, let's be realistic here. This is where our human brains are trying to wrap our minds around something that we are supposed to not to believe in, that we are told that does not exist in the reality of our world that is out there.
100%, right? Like, and it's not supposed to exist.
Right. And, and I know grown men that has never believed in this realm of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Dogman, or cryptids, and unfortunately have encountered these situations as they got older or younger when they were, and now they have PTSD and they cannot go into the woods or near woods because they're that bad off because of their encounter or experience.
And I think that's a very real thing. And I think, like, I don't know, but for me, part of the show that we're trying to do is like I want people to have an outlet that we can display those stories in a respectful manner to help break down the stigma. Because like I mean, those guys that have that trauma from their experiences, that's real trauma.
It is.
And like they
Absolutely.
deserve to be heard and understood, and they get those supports. But I mean, if you're saying that your trauma is coming from a Bigfoot experience, a lot of people are just going to roll their eyes, and that's not fair. So I hope that the show gives, at the very least, like the new insight we'll bring to the topic will help break that wall down and, you know, get people heard a bit more.
Well, and I think you're going to do a real good job of it. And I always tell Sportcat, you know, when everybody asks me, Grizzly, is this picture or photograph real or video? Is it real or not of Dogman or Bigfoot? And the first thing I say is, number one, I was not there. And two, I did not take the video, even though that you and I, or all of us know that we may think otherwise. But we know that little Johnny is out there in the wood, drunk, in an ape suit, causing havoc across the nation, right? We know that's happening, unfortunately. We have those people doing that. But we also have those people that are actually encountering things that are unexplained. And it's
100%.
all these people that are telling us the same thing across the nation over the years. They are seeing something. They're not just making stuff up.
Well, and I think that's an important topic because, I mean, we mentioned the missing 411 stuff that Dave Pilates does. And I mean, I think for me, like if we can get more people to look at this topic seriously, we'll be able to hopefully identify a species that we can, you know, look after and you know, find out more about, but also better prepare ourselves when we go into the woods too by identifying these other threats. I mean, if these things are as physical as bears, they pose just as much of a physical danger. So it's important for people to be educated on that.
Agreed.
I totally agree with that. And I do, in my personal opinion, is that the world and the government does know they do exist. Okay. They have sanctuaries for them. They actually have bodies. Mount St. Helens is a good example. The rumors and examples that we have heard from when that actually blew back in the day, from the bodies they recovered with helicopters with big nets that people saw allegedly. But you know, I just don't think people can handle the truth. I don't think we actually understand the realm of the creature or monster, some people want to call it, you know, because I think there's more to it than what we are capable of understanding at this point. So it's really good to see somebody come in with a scientific approach to look at it at that angle and look outside the box for a change in trying to put pieces together for everybody. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how Ryan and Joel feel on this, but my kind of mindset is like, if you look at how you guys in the US have changed your perspective on the UFO topic in the last 5 years, 5-6 years, right? I think that Bigfoot needs a similar approach to get this kind of like, ideally we could one day have hearings in Congress to find out more information about what is known. But I think like just being able to acknowledge, because I mean, the big thing for UFOs is that, hey, we don't know what they are, but they're real. And I think for Bigfoot, what we need is a like proper acknowledgement to say like, hey, we don't know what they are, but there's something going on in the woods. And if we can get just that acknowledgement, I think we make a lot of headway.
Well, actually, in the United States, we do have on some law books in some states, it is capital murder to shoot or kill a Sasquatch. So
and that's an interesting law to pass.
So that is very interesting. And somebody says portal, a Sasquatch is an extra dimensional being, ? So everybody knows Ron Moorhead, correct? Everybody's very well adversed with him. And he's actually one of our admins in one of our groups. And he actually came out with a book. Glenn, what was the book titled?
Quantum Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. And on my last show that I had him on, he told me pretty much point blank, Grizzly, if we would have talked about this quantum physics 30 to 50 years ago, I, referring to Mr. Moore, would laugh at you. But now, 30 to 50 years later, at his age, knowing what he has seen and has experienced and has encountered over his years, he is now looking over and outside the box. He
Yeah,
is even saying there's more to it than what we can understand. And
well, I
that's
think
what
this is a
I've
good
been saying.
example, right? Like using the Bigfoot topic again, or not the Bigfoot topic, sorry, the UFO topic again. I mean, if we were to say Bigfoot's from another dimension, a lot of people roll their eyes. But you have a lot of scientists right now that are looking at the UFO phenomenon saying these could be from another dimension, and they're saying it seriously.
Yes.
So if those are things that could come from another dimension. And to be honest, I'm a flesh and blood guy. That's kind of the way I approach this topic, but I'm open to other things. And I think that drawing those connections from other phenomenons is like the big way to figure this thing out. Like another good example is orbs. Orbs are reported in ghost encounters, UFO, and Bigfoot encounters, and we know nothing about them.
It's true.
Right. And one thing I liked about what Ron said, and when I interviewed him, Ron's like, if you really want to get down to the bare basics, is that you get a map and get a map of the United States. And we're going back to our days when we were younger. We call them transparency sheets. And you lay another map on top of that with the UFO sightings, lay another map on top of that with the Bigfoot sightings, lay another map on top of that with the ley lines, lay another map on top of that with the caves, lay another map on top of that with the orb sightings. And then you start to see a trend appearing. See what I'm saying? Because nobody is an expert on this topic. We are all going off people's experiences, right? Or encounters that they have had over the years. Now, this was a topic that has been tainted for many years. Now, in the past 10 to 15 years, it's more becoming acceptable to come out in public to speak about it. So that's why we're having more encounters. Plus, we're also encroaching on more land of these creatures or whatnot and building more Walmarts and subdivisions. So,
well, I think you made an interesting point that things have really changed in the last, let's say 10 years or so. And I think that a big part of that is we're seeing more cooperation within the Bigfoot community. Like the fact that we can sit around and have a discussion and to share our opinions and have civil conversation, I would say is a fairly new thing in the Bigfoot world. And I mean, like, I know for us at Sasquatch University, like we have plans to try to reach out and better our connections with the community. I don't know, Ryan, did you talk about our donations already?
Oh, no, not yet, actually. Yeah, so we have new merchandise on our website, but 10% of that monthly is going to a Sasquatch research organization.
Awesome.
Yeah, we still have to pick one, but it will be going to one each month. Yeah, and 10% of it too. And then the rest goes to helping us fund the show, which is still essentially going to Sasquatch research. So
yeah, that's understandable. I mean, it's really expensive to do this. I mean, it's really expensive to even do what we're doing. I mean, we're not getting paid for doing this right now to be on the air or the shows that Glow Sportcat's broadcasting us on, or what I'm doing. So no, it's very understandable. But one thing that I suggest for you all, and I think you're on the right track, and this is my opinion and my opinion only. And Cody says yes, that he is a flesh and blood person. Everybody is going to have their opinion. Everybody will. And I will embrace everybody's opinion. I will not disagree or agree with everybody. I will understand where they are coming from. I will understand their experience or their encounters, regardless of how far it may sound or how far in the left or right field it may come out of. Because every time I think I heard the story that tops it all, ladies and gentlemen, there's somebody else that comes out of the wood and says, Grizzly, you are not going to believe what happened to me 2 years ago. And I'm like, you got to be joking. So it never stops.
Yeah.
And once you get in this topic, you will see and understand that people that are true and sincere, and you will have people that will confide with you and say, please do not tell anybody who I am. Please do not tell my name.
And
you can tell my story, but don't mention me.
Yeah, we get a lot of, like, we collect reports and stuff too through through our website, and we get a lot of that too, and kind of take a lot of the same approach you kind of just mentioned there with being open to everything. Like I've been researching Sasquatch since I was pretty young, actually, because I guess I got watching Finding Bigfoot at a pretty young age, and that kind of did it for me.
Right on.
And so I guess kind of watching that, I kind of grew up looking a lot more into like the flesh and blood side. But yeah, you know, the more I got into the topic, I realized there were all these kind of other explanations, and a lot of you know, kind of similar stuff to like what you guys were just talking about, or you know, Ron Moorhead talks about. I was actually talking with him like a month or two ago about you know, a lot of his past encounters and the, you know, Sierra Sound, stuff like that. But yeah, it's also, you know, fascinating. I think it really, you know, is worth taking a proper look into, and that's something we plan to do on the show. We want to look at every avenue of possibilities as to what we're dealing with here.
Oh, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, and Ryan, Joel, and Cody, I mean, you will be tested. You will have people that will try to prank you. You will have people try to pull the wool over your eyes to get their 15 minutes of fame with you, to get their name out there. It's going to happen. But you will sort through that, and you will be amazed what you will go through your journey. It's very, very amazing, and you're going to be surprised. It's just a wow factor, you know. I mean, when Sportcat and I talk, I'm always amazed because he is so modest. You know, I mean, I have to bring out my law enforcement skills to actually get him to speak sometimes, to interview him, to get him to talk, because he's so wealth of knowledge that unless you ask certain questions, he won't talk to you. So, but yeah, tell us more. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over.
Oh,
I'm just so excited. No. You know, this is great for you guys.
Yeah, no, us too. And yeah, you know, you do have to be careful, kind of like what you're saying about, I guess, people trying to prank or different things like that. Actually, when we were trying to do the pilot this summer, I guess neither of Joel or Cody were there, but we were filming this one thing. We had one guy that got in touch, and you know, it was just so obvious he was making everything up. And I kept asking him kind of just the next most like impossible step up thing to see if he'd answer. No matter what I'd say, I was like, oh, like, you know, have you ever seen like Bigfoot teleport in your house and start mating or something like that? And he was like, yeah, like I have actually, yeah. Like anything and I keep putting it in every different direction, and he just and like there's obviously no way that, and he, you know, but you know, you get those kind of people, and you know, and then after it's just like, oh, when will this air, man? Like,
yeah, right.
It's like never.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, you gotta look out for those.
We get the same thing on our shows. You know, I want to be on your show, and you know, we'll go to interview them, do a pre-interview, and be like, yeah, okay, well, we'll let you know.
Yeah,
we'll get back with you.
Yeah, and you know, it's too bad there's those kind of people, because I think it really does set things back for people that are trying to do serious research a lot of the time, right? Because if there's all these people, especially ones that make these fake videos, and because that's kind of the worst thing you can do, and it's like, oh, new footage of Bigfoot.
The red circles, those are the worst you can do. God, if I don't get 10 of those in my inbox today. Do you see it? What the hell am I looking at?
This is a tree, sir.
and my things, ladies and gentlemen, you know, and this is where I say I wasn't there. I didn't take the picture. As a amateur photographer, okay, let's break this down in layman's terms. So we're all out in the field, and we're looking into a bush 120 yards away. Now, with our naked eye, we can actually see inside that bush. But as we bring our camera up and focus with our camera lens, depends on the angle of the light.
Yeah, see, this is the blue sky coming out.
Right?
I'm like, don't send me red circles.
Right. Here's the light, the shading, and everything, the angle. And we take a picture. We're not going to see what we actually saw with our eyes. The camera's going to see something different. So that's why I say I'm not there, so I'm not going to judge. But, you know, a lot of people are like, well, here comes another picture of a blob squad. Now, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You're out in the middle of the woods, and somebody's throwing something at you, and somebody steps out. It's 10 foot tall, 900 pounds, growling at you, and you're trying to pull out your cell phone, standing still without crapping yourself, trying to take a still picture without running.
Say, hold on, let me get my Kodachrome out.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, your picture's gonna be a little blurry, okay? Because back then, when you took a photograph, it took a photograph. Now you take a photograph, it snaps, and then it's a fraction of a second. Then it takes the photograph. It's not instant. So there is a slight delay.
And that's also something that Ron talked about in one of his interviews. I think it might have been in his book too. If they have some type of ability to distort or EMF, or I don't know what the right word would be. I don't want to use the word cloak, but if they had some way of doing it, the new digital cameras aren't going to get that great of an image anyhow. So
no, and he did say that in my interview that they found out that they can actually see. They think that, or he thinks, and the other people that are with him think that they can see infrared. So that's why they can see the trail cameras. And I think Sportcat now, we talked about that greatly. They also can distort the camera images with it digitally, like you said, also drain batteries. And that's why a lot of people are going back to the old style cameras.
Hey,
the 35 mils and the 110.
Was that what the Chinese were doing, looking for Bigfoot?
Hey, who knows? I thought they were going to drop, chopsticks and fortune cookies, but that didn't happen. So
it just hit me when he said that they were in old school. Yeah, we got a balloon flying over the country. Maybe that's what they were doing there, looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah, and what do they call them over there in China? I don't know what they call them over there.
Oh, urine.
Yeah, right. Yeah. 35 millimeter.
It's funny you mentioned like the distortion that comes with cameras, because so my background is in journalism and the military, and like one of the things we talk about is camouflage. And I'm sure all of us have seen the "where's the sniper in the picture" thing.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you can take natural foliage and you can develop that to a point where you can hide in plain sight. And I mean, if these creatures are a flesh and blood thing, and their vests adapt, they probably have some good camouflage techniques that we could learn from. So it's not unreasonable to think that they can be so well disguised into a woodland scenery that you couldn't catch them on a camera even if you tried.
Well, that is correct. And have you ever seen one on all fours, like a spider?
I've heard of it, and I've seen like the couple clips that are going around, and it's creepy as hell. But my thing is, and like I will give everything credence because, like you said, I wasn't there. But I need to see this stuff for myself to know if it's fact or fiction.
That is fact. And once you experience it, you're gonna, yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
And I've heard so many stories about it.
Yeah. And we have a lot of Bigfoot groups out here in the Bigfoot world. When they walk, they'll actually have a camera filming on their chest and one filming behind them. So, because they said when they walk down the trail, they usually get one that would peek out behind a tree and look at them as they walk by. And that's pretty interesting. So just keep that in mind too, gentlemen. Still, tools and tricks of the trade. And also a formula a guy told me a long time ago is every 2 inches to an inch of a Bigfoot track is what is it? 2 inches to an inch or two? Yeah.
I don't
2
even
inches.
know where you're going with this.
Dang it. Okay, so every 2 inches to an inch is a foot on a Bigfoot. Yes, that's what it is.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So every 2 inches is a foot on a Bigfoot. And if you take off your shoe and measure your foot size, you will come up with your height.
So theoretically, if you have, say, like an 18-inch track, you have an 8-foot Bigfoot type of thing.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, I got you. I thought you were
I had to stop and think about that.
Yeah,
I just want to let them know, because I didn't know if they knew that formula or not. Because I try to share
the real
that.
story. He saw that you guys were university, and here with my GED, I couldn't compete. So he went and he studied up there. So he's like, I want to be with them smart fellers. So,
we're not that smart, but.
No, because if you're out there and you actually get a track, wouldn't that be neat if you actually got a 19 or 20-inch track and you actually measured it and you're like, man, this thing could be like, X amount of feet tall, because it actually works and you can actually measure your own foot when you have a chance. I actually had people do it on my show before, jump up and left the monitor, and you hear this aluminum tape measure going and hear them cussing like, oh my God, I can't believe he's right. They measure their own foot and it's right. So it's just something to add to your chest. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip. Yeah. We'll definitely be doing that.
And that's one thing that the Bigfoot world and organizations alike with you should share knowledge with everybody to help everybody in this phenomenon. And that's where we're going to go places.
Yeah,
It's to share the
absolutely.
knowledge. Knowledge is power, and power is knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. And that's my belief.
Yeah, that's why we we try to speak to a ton of different researchers that kind of all have different views or different opinions at the society. And yeah, we've had a ton of pretty well known researchers come out and give lectures for us. So it's been really cool, like learning from all of them and kind of being able to gather information from kind of different backgrounds of the community, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And what do you think, Sportcat?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's great that they're doing it that way. I mean, one of the questions I had was, so you're all in college. What's your majors?
I can go first if you guys want, but yeah, I'm in Canadian cultural studies.
Okay.
Yeah. Joel, if you want to.
Mine has nothing to do with Bigfoot. I'm in ancient Greek and Roman studies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
So funny enough, I'm probably the only member of the group that isn't currently in school. I went to school for journalism, graduated in, like 2019, I think. So I'm kind of the outsider looking in on this group here.
There's nothing
I
wrong
kind of
with
pictured
that,
you as the
though.
guy hanging out the frat house, like what is it, old school with Blue? Because I mean, I don't know. Ryan looks a little young there. I could see him yelling at you. You're my boy, Cody. You're my boy.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to find a frat house and do that.
Does Peterborough even have frat houses up there?
I didn't think
we have a
we
fraternity
do,
organization. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And also in the comments, I don't know if you guys noticed that there were several people that said they wanted to buy shirts, but it didn't ship to the U.S. So
I think we are working on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to fix that.
Yeah. I initially thought it would ship to the US. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys go back to the site
like
and
3 or 4 days ago, so we're still troubleshooting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
if you guys go
understandable.
back to it and maybe what today's Wednesday, maybe Friday.
Yeah. We'll try and get
probably-
it fixed by then.
Yeah. That's too bad. Yeah, but we will.
Well, we
get
could probably
that
put
fixed.
something up on the Instagram and stuff once it goes live for like international sales.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And before y'all leave, you can give us your plugs, where your Facebook, your Instagram,
Oh, for sure.
your
Yeah,
Twitters and stuff
absolutely.
is. So yeah, before you leave. But so you haven't filmed yet. How many episodes are you going to plan on filming?
Yeah, so we're doing a full season of 13 episodes. So
Okay.
lot of filming to do, but we're really pumped up to do it.
Now, are you going to go to different areas? Or are you staying in one area, or how's that going?
Yeah, so we'll be going to different parts around Ontario. We've gotten cool tips or evidence or videos sent in, that sort of thing, and follow up with them. So yeah, it'll kind of be going out and meeting up with whoever kind of witnessed something out in that area, and then doing a night investigation, or and then there'll probably be some stuff in between, some maybe new experience or experiments, whatever we kind of think is needed for the situation. But we want each episode to have a bit of a different feel for sure, but we'll be going around different parts of the province. And yeah, I think Owen Sound, Ontario, and Barrie are kind of two places that we've confirmed will be doing episodes.
Oh,
Okay.
that's awesome, man.
Now, do you camp
Great.
and stay up there for a couple days when you're out, or how does that work?
I think we're still kind of figuring that bit out, but
Okay.
I think we sometimes it'll probably be camping. Maybe if it's like a really cold night, it'll be like a motel or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what we
Don't
can,
feel bad. Bear Grylls does it too. So
Well, I think we're gonna probably definitely allot time for the places that produce results. That's gonna be a big one for us. And then, I mean, I don't know if you guys know Canada very well, but there's parts of Ontario that are very, kind of splotchy in terms of its woodland. I'm actually in Owen Sound right now, and that's kind of how we are. I mean, there's chunks of large woods, but they're, a little bit of a drive away. Where the further north you get, you get less and less people and more bush until it turns into tundra. So we have a lot of area to cover.
Yeah,
That'll be
no,
good.
you're right. You're absolutely right on that. That's true.
yeah, I'm not a fan of camping in the cold, so I don't know that. We camped in Alabama, and it got to 22 degrees, and I thought I was going to die. It was so cold.
Yeah, we had a day up here, maybe like last weekend, it was like below 25 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like minus 27 Celsius.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you.
And we had a society hike actually that Joel led on that day.
Oh yeah, that was freezing.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you. My son moved from Atlanta to Vermont because he wanted to see snow. And it's, I think every day this week it snowed in Vermont. And I think he called me the other day. He's like, there's 4 foot of it, Dad, and it's not stopping. I was like, you said you wanted to see snow. He goes, and they keep driving in it, Dad. And I'm like, yeah, they do. It's not like Atlanta where we shut down over a 1/4 inch of snow. So,
I've been to places in Canada where like snow machine is your primary source of transportation. It's crazy.
I bet.
I can't imagine. No, I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Well, to be honest, that's where you get the cool experiences. Like I was very northern Ontario in a place called Martin Falls a few years ago with the military doing some training, and like some of the locals up there had mentioned, like the 8-man in the woods kind of thing, like stay near, don't go too far off the designated camping areas. And all that kind of stuff. And that was like our local guides warning us when we were up there. And that kind of freaked me out a little bit when I was up there too.
Oh, I bet.
Well, I visited some family out in Oregon. Well, it's at the California, Oregon. Yeah. Oregon border. And they were like, oh yeah, they're out there. I mean, they were talking about them like, they were possums. Yeah. It was like, it's common to the, and you talk to other people, and I know we have some people in here that don't believe in them, which is fine. But some people, that's just the way it is.
When you hear of areas like all over North America where like they're just commonplace, like I've heard numerous of stories where people are saying like, I wasn't until I was in my in my teens or my 20s that I realized that other people didn't think these things existed. Like
right. And I've actually interviewed people that actually have property out west that's been in their family for so long. They are not able to sell it because they are afraid of the generations of Sasquatches that live there. What's going to happen to them if somebody buys the property?
Oh, wow, I hadn't even heard
that's
that.
Interesting.
Yes, that's actually
really
been a couple of my interviews, and they are actually want to sell so bad, but they won't. They're keeping it in their family, and they want to actually move, but they're afraid because they lived there for so long, for 2 or 3 generations with their families. And they coexist, and and hear the story in their encounters, and at first you're like, yeah, okay, and once you get involved and listen, and the more they talk to you, you're like, this is an actual true story, because they start getting emotional over it, that they want to leave but they can't because they're afraid, and it's like, wow. And it's like everybody in the area knows that they're there in their community. Like somebody just said a minute ago, they know that they're there, but it's common knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think like
themselves.
It's crazy when you think of that, because like if we could get the scientific community and the Bigfoot community to cooperate enough, like those people would be able to sell their property because there would be protections for those creatures, or like maybe you'd get the like that would be the hope, right? Like, but it's so hard to say what would happen. Like, would the government just come in and confiscate that property because it's got these creatures on it? Who's to say?
Dominant domain or omen. So yeah, remember what happened in the Midwest with that spotted owl about the wood, the timberland, when they found that rare spotted owl that damn near shut down the wooded industry?
I was gonna say they closed down a huge portion of that, right?
Oh, my gosh, wood went through the roof. The wood industry almost shut down. They sanctuary, I don't know how many thousands of acres of land. Yes, that is true. So so they would have to do a lot of stuff if they acknowledged on paper that Bigfoot or Sasquatch did actually exist in real life. They would have to do something. Endangered species. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's wild. Yeah.
It's very crazy to think about.
It is. Mm-hmm. It really is.
And you were talking earlier about, I think it was Joel was talking about. Yeah, it was Joel. He was saying that he couldn't believe that they were in an area as populated as that. I live just outside of Atlanta, and just in my little area of Atlanta, I've come home for work. I was a flight medic, and we would fly all around the world, and I'd get in and out at crazy hours. And I think once you develop a connection that you're open to these things and you've had experiences, I think there's some type of they know. I don't know if it's a sense or whatever, but so yeah, I'm coming in my flight suit like 3 a.m. No one's moving in the neighborhood. It's a Sunday night, and I get a pine cone hit me in the back of the head in my driveway, and I live in the suburbs. And I'm like, okay, dude, I've been up for 2 days. I'm too tired for this. I'm not tonight, guys. And it's just crazy how things. And I mean, could it have been a kid in the neighborhood? Maybe, but highly unlikely. So it's just sometimes people don't realize what's around them. And it's one thing I always tell everybody going out in the woods: observational awareness. Because aside from the fact, if you think every Bigfoot's warm and fuzzy and going to hug you, which I don't know is the case, there are other things out there that can hurt you or kill you too. So observational awareness, no matter what your situation, is the key.
Yeah, and something. Actually, you guys might find this pretty interesting, Joel. If you want to tell them about, some of your summertime up in BC and all the bears and some of the people saying they saw things up there, pretty regularly.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So my summer job last summer was working with a tree planting camp. So it's part of the forestry industry. So the logging companies come and cut down the trees, and then they contract out tree planters to replant the area. And it's not clear cut, so it's not like there's big fields of stumps. They have these just sections, like cut blocks and pieces, where it's like a few square miles or a few square kilometers of deforested area. And I wasn't a planter, but I was a cook, and I would hear stories from all the planters. And this is middle of nowhere, so this is out past Prince George. I don't know if you know where that is, but it's really, really remote. Whenever, as a cook, whenever we would order food, I would have to order it like 4 days in advance, and then they'd truck it all the way up. But anyways, they'd come back with these stories, and the pieces are surrounded by really, really like heavily forested areas. But there's just these few square miles of cut land, and they're replanting those sections. And some people have said, we've seen Bigfoots just like run straight through our piece, like from one end of the woods to the other, just right through as we were planting trees. And there's no way they could have mistaken it for a bear or something, because these people see bears every day up there. Like every single day they'll be seeing black bears at least, and then sometimes grizzly bears, and they'll run up right beside their trucks. They'll have moose just following their trucks as they're driving to work. So, like a lot of these planters, they'll say, "Oh yeah, for sure, Bigfoot exists." Like I've seen him, but it's not like they're going to get conclusive evidence because they're out there working.
Yeah, and that actually happens a lot with people in the forestry that plants trees or counts trees, or actually cut lumber and deforest. Yeah, it really does. So it's amazing. They're not out there looking for it. It actually comes looking for you when you're out there in its world. So that's what's amazing.
Well, guys, so when's your first? You said you're filming now. When do you plan on? You probably told me already, and I done forgot. When's it going to air?
Yeah, it airs September 25th on the Wild TV network, and I think you guys are able to get it down there in the States too, or at least I don't know. I think if you go to their website or something, anyone that wants to check it out can figure out how to do it through there pretty easily. But yeah, we're really excited about it, and have a lot of filming to do, but we're gonna get started pretty soon. So I think it'll be a lot of fun too, and just we hope it'll be a really fun show and kind of provide a lot of new perspectives that maybe haven't been seen yet, sort of, and different Bigfoot shows.
Yeah. One thing I did want to ask: are you going to do like the CSI thing? You're going to take and get samples and send them out to labs and stuff like that.
Actually, yeah. I was actually talking with, if you guys are familiar with Darby Orcutt, just the other day about if I ever have anything, maybe sending it to him or some other scientist he knows. So if we find anything, it's nice having those resources or scientists that are willing just to take a look at whatever it is, if it's footprints, hair, etc. So yeah, it'll be pretty cool to see what comes in. We're still kind of witness hunting right now. We have a lot, but we're still looking for more right before, because we still have probably like another few weeks before we go out and film anything. But yeah, but everything's looking really good for the show, and yeah, obviously really excited.
Oh man, we're excited. I mean, you all have to come back and like fill us in and tell us how everything's going.
Yeah,
we'd
love to.
Yes, I mean the honor's all ours, and I think
Absolutely, yeah.
Sportcat will agree that the invitation is always open. I know our audience would always love to see and hear from you all, and to keep tabs on what's going on with you all out there in the field. I think that'd be awesome.
What I like is that you guys are taking the different approach, and you're a different set of eyes than other people I've talked to. I've talked to a lot of people out there, but you guys seem to, I don't know, your first impression with your emails and stuff with me, Ryan, was like you were like narrowed in and going right for the facts and only the facts. So I like the fact that you were kind of nailed down on the subject. So that was like, okay, that's why I wanted to talk to you guys. So
yeah, well thanks. We really appreciate you guys saying that, and yeah, we just hope it'll kind of give maybe a fresher look, and maybe a more open-minded look to kind of a lot of areas of the Sasquatch subject. So we really hope it'll be something people enjoy and take a real interest in.
Who knows? Maybe you all be the one that actually get the actual footage that we need.
Yeah, I really hope so. I hope I'm sure other people have thought of kind of the similar ideas we've kind of had and been discussing for maybe getting that done and getting the footage that everyone's been looking for really since the Patterson Gimlin footage, you could say.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
but the thing though is to get it, you have to be out there. You can't be sitting on the couch thinking, I'm going to get that footage one day. I'm going to get that picture. So you got to be out there, boots on the ground, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'm really excited to get out there and in the field and kind of doing the preparation for the show. I've been at the desk and the computer for like a few months now. It's killing me. So I can't wait to get out and start filming and be out there again.
I tell you one thing that's really going to happen when you get out there, and I think Sportcat's going to tell you the same thing, is I think that you're all going to experience a lot more than what you think that you're going to look for. And when it comes to the supernatural realm, besides Bigfoot, so be prepared. FYI, just letting you know. So
yeah, that's a great tip, and yeah, that's something we'll try our best to do before the episode, and I guess we can try our best to be prepared, but I feel like we'll never really I do expect for some things on the show to be kind of a surprise or things we can't really predict, or you guys know, but expect the unexpected.
Exactly. It's like I said earlier, I'm base camp martyr a lot of the time. I don't mind, because I've had so many kind of cool experiences as the base camp martyr, being the medic and the communications officer and stuff. I've had more stuff happen in base camp while they're out there looking for it. I'm like sometimes thinking, we must be their cable TV. They're coming to see what I'm doing. They know what they're doing. Those guys are out there looking for me. I ain't messing with them. And this fat guy down here with the radio, oh, he's on mine. So I think I've had more experiences doing that. We were sitting there one night and literally something that sounded like a herd of deer come running right through the camp. And me and the other guy just looked at each other because it went between us. Dust kicked up and everything. We're like, did you see that? And yeah. And I'm like, all right, then. He goes, what was it? I'm like, I got no damn clue. I got no clue.
Yeah, every time that you think you can draw the line in the sand and say, I believe this, but you don't believe in that, you always remove that line and move that line further down and draw another line. So your mind keeps opening up further and further. But ladies and gentlemen, we have Cody, Joe, and Ryan. So how does everybody get a hold of you all?
Yeah, just through our website, sasquatchuniversity.com is the best way. And then we also have links to all the brand new social media for the show we made literally just the other day.
Also
on there.
Sorry, an update on the merchandise. I just changed it, so now we ship to all of North America and not just Canada. So hopefully that should be rectified.
Right.
Wow, Joel, good work. He did that while doing an interview at the same time.
He's like, I gotta be serious.
His mouth was not moving a minute ago while he was speaking. I knew he was doing something behind the scenes.
Well, one of the guys said he's trying again now. So,
let's see if it works. Well, I'm excited. Like, if the audience can follow us, I think our personals are linked on there too. If they want to kind of check in more, see what we're about. I mean, I think it's going to be really exciting. I mean, I'm hoping the audience kind of starts to build now, and they can follow our entire journey, and we can get to share that with them as much as possible.
Oh, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's called Sasquatch University. Is that correct?
Yeah, and we'll be posting, a lot of updates about the show on social media, and maybe the odd opportunity to even get on the show for some people. So something to keep an eye out for.
There you go, Grizz.
Wow. Hey, did you hear that?
You can get your passport now.
Oh,
you're not wanted up there, are you? So.
No. I'll say this real quick. Last time I was up there on the border, it was funny. I was still sworn. And I had my dad and his brother, and it was his mom's funeral. And we went up to the border, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go up there and trade some police patches. And they were like, you can't park here. And it says no parking. I'm like, we're fine. I get out of the car, and I take off. And they're like freaking out, and I'm walking around, and I got like 3 guns on me. I'm out there on the border. Plain clothes, and I'm walking around with my badge out and ID and waving it at the cameras. Nobody's around. It's shift change. So I walk inside in the border, and they got this girl crying, and she's probably about 18, 19 years old and stuff. And I walk over. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know. And I say, I'm so-and-so, and I'm visiting from Kentucky and everything, or Indiana. And he's like, oh, hey, and I said, what do you got? And anyways, I got her to confess, and they were trying to get me to go up in the tower. They couldn't find the chief and everything. I was gone for like an hour and a half, man. They were giving me a tour. And man, my dad and his brother was like, oh man, he got locked up. He's got guns on him. We're going to jail. We're getting his car towed and everything. It was electric, but man, he had to be there. But ladies and gentlemen, you heard Sasquatch University, Cody, Joe, and Ryan. Thank you so much for being on the show. We loved it. Please keep us in touch. Sportcat inform what's going on.
Yeah, on Facebook, join our group. Yeah, and
we absolutely will.
Post your stuff. Yeah, on Facebook you can find us Grizzly and Sportcat live in a group, and you can post there. And of course, you'll get all kinds of people in there with the Squatch stuff. So yeah, come on.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll just email you the Facebook link or something. I'm not very good at Facebook, so we can figure it out that way. But yeah, we absolutely will.
Okay.
It sounds good. I appreciate you all being on the show. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having us, guys. Much appreciated.
For having us.
All right, we'll see you guys. Take care, everybody.
Take care, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, man, what do you think about that, sir?
I liked it. And I like the fact that we're new in our show and they're new in their show. So
right.
Maybe they'll take off and remember us, or we'll take off and remember them. I don't know. So
that's right.
I'm going with them, though. We're kind of goofy.
God bear. Really cool. Sitting by the pool. Girls all around.
It just seems like a Beach Boys rendition.
Doesn't it? God bear.
All right,
I
so
love this song, man.
next week we've got another Bigfooter on the last hour. So
Really?
Yes, we do. Somebody from Tennessee.
Tennessee? Where are you finding these people, man? I love it.
I don't know, but you're gonna have a real treat in a few weeks.
God damn. Oh, really? Uh-oh. I hate to see what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, from coast to coast around the world, we got here we go. I'm not going to say it this time.
Let's hit it out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So, how does everybody get a hold of us, Sportcat?
You can find me at Sportcat on Twitter, or you can go to our Grizzly and Sportcat Live on Facebook groups and join our group. And of course, we're on YouTube, and you can find us probably tomorrow afternoon. You can find this on Google Podcast, Apple iPlay, Sirius, and I don't know, a couple other places. I'll figure it all out eventually.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, and thank you once again for joining in, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Got here.